Welcome back to my channel. This upload is not only the first media review for the Libro Mons section of Best Tuesday, but it's all because May 24th is Global Schizophrenia Awareness Day. I am just one of many with the intent to raise awareness, dispel harmful lies, and counteract the social stigma surrounding the condition. The date was chosen in 1792 when French physician Philippe Pinel began a shift toward humane mental health treatment. I bought the DVD to a 90s TV film starring entertainment pioneer Diana Ross titled Out of Darkness. Rising to fame in the 1960s as the lead vocalist of the Supremes, Diana Ross became a defining face of the Motown era. Her crossover appeal helped break racial barriers in mainstream American television, radio, and film during a period of major cultural transition. Hits such as Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Touch Me in the Morning, and Upside Down confirmed her longevity as a solo superstar capable of evolving with changing musical trends. Ross also carried major credibility as an actress long before Out of Darkness. Her Academy Award-nominated performance as Billie Holiday in Lady Sings the Blues proved she could portray emotionally layered women dealing with pain, addiction, and public scrutiny. She later expanded her dramatic image through projects such as Mahogany and The Wiz, balancing glamour with vulnerability. By the early 1990s, Ross had become viewed not only as an entertainer, but as a respected cultural icon capable of handling serious social themes. That reputation made her a strong choice for Out of Darkness, a film centered on schizophrenia, recovery, and family trauma. Her elegance, emotional intelligence, and multi-generational audience appeal helped give the project legitimacy and visibility, while also allowing Ross to challenge expectations surrounding mental illness in Black families in television drama.
Don't mess with me. Does this water taste funny to you?
There's nothing wrong with the
Ash,
water.
did you
We
drink the water from the
every
tap?
day. Nothing's
Ash,
happened to us.
I don't think I
Nothing's
should
gonna
drink the water
happen
from
to
the
you.
tap!
Right.
Yes, mother. Stay away from me! Oh, no, you're not! No, you're not!
Mama, how's things? Mama, my head is blowing apart. They're coming up from behind me and I don't know where to go.
They're not gonna hurt you, baby. Honey! Mama's here, baby. Honey! Hurt you, baby. They're not gonna hurt you.
I can't think. Oh, my God, I can't. No, I want to be here. I don't want to be here. I'll be good. I'll be good.
Tell me what I was like, Zoe. I don't remember what I was like before.
You're never going to be where you were, Polly. You can stay in medicine, but being a doctor's too tall an order. Too much stress could cause your symptoms to flare up again. Is something else going to be enough?
I think. No. No. I'm where I was. I'm where I was. I've lost 18 years. A lost life. What am I gonna go get on with? What am I supposed to get on with? What kind of life do I get back? What are we being punished for? What did we do wrong? I have a daughter. I don't know. I never knew. And she's afraid she's gonna have schizophrenia. She's 10 years old.
From the very beginning of the movie, Diana Ross, the media goddess and cultural pioneer, was absent, within and without. Her character Polly is done a thorough duty by a portrayal containing a soul in pain, interrupted from its own neurochemistry. Terror has left its own mark across several movies by Diana Ross, but flair was not an objective for this story of paranoid schizophrenia. Her reputation in performance art, as her expertise gave the best possible for this production. The reminder this movie signaled is that there's no legend, icon, diva, myth, or hero worth reverence without sensibility, malleability to demonstrate stories of the isolated and forgotten. Millennial and Generation Z stars have done hashtags, reels, but this film effort has otherwise been unparalleled. Family strain had a chance to be demonstrated and was as much of a privilege to have in the plot than anything else. Parental guilt, sibling grief, and the fear children of paranoid schizophrenics are met with. I make note of how Polly's mother was not an absentee parent, the difference that makes for households, on or off screen. Resources were sought out. You get to see how fear is what makes us human, but mastery over it features an abounding opportunity. Polly, with medical compliance, set herself onto a path of continuation. Referencing her mother, Virginia, Polly was touched by God. As an agnostic, I found meaning in that dialogue. People with schizophrenia have experienced dimensions worth of inner turmoil, to where when it comes to my outer opinion, I could only consider God as a compass of all possibility, painful or gratifying, confusing or discernible. Radical acceptance of mental illness can decrease social exile, whether it's workplace discrimination, bullying and ridicule, family abandonment, just to put down a few. The ending in particular shed light of mutual understanding between two women no less human than anybody else. This movie is soul-stirring, even after multiple watches. Overlooking skin tone, teeth, hair, or voice, I've loved her just because. My connection with her is greatly imperfect. With the illness she has, interestingly, she is the only person who never tried to be something they're not towards me. My parents tried to hide themselves from me. Others have admired me, but the brand of love I've gotten from Grandmother Mignon has no pretense. Friction or any other barriers between us are more human than anything else. We have had both nothing and many things in common. With all of the parentification, dismissal, and wasted time that could be associated with my early upbringing, I wouldn't choose any other woman as my grandmother, even if my future holds no one like her around to understand me. Growing up, my grandmother's schizophrenia was never introduced to me as something frightening. By the time I was between 5 and 7 years old, I already understood that her behavior was different, but it had become normal within the rhythm of our family. She helped raise me and my siblings, caring for us nearly every day of the week. So my earliest memories of mental illness are tied more to routine, familiarity, and love than fear. Her paranoia existed in smaller, quieter ways. The kitchen became her safe space. She rarely left it for long because she feared visitors or relatives might pick through the food, spices, or household items. As children, we adapted naturally to her routines without questioning them much. She would jokingly tell us not to walk too closely behind her in the kitchen because her nerves were bad. Even as toddlers, we learned how to move around her carefully and respectfully. None of it felt dramatic to us at the time. It was simply part of being around Grandma. What stands out to me now is how normalized her condition was within the family long before my generation arrived. Her siblings and extended family had already spent decades helping care for her, so schizophrenia was treated less as a shocking tragedy and more as an understood part of her life. Conversations about it were minimal, but support was constant. Looking back as an adult, I realized that witnessing her later years gave me a grounded understanding of mental illness. It taught me that schizophrenia does not erase a person's humanity, humor, or role within a family. My grandmother was not defined entirely by paranoia. She was still the woman who cooked, watched over us, and remained deeply woven into our childhood memories. For trivia's sake, Diana Ross is my grandmother's childhood idol. From her time in the Supremes to solo fame, my grandmother looked at Miss Ross as a beacon of determination and elegance. She would collect every single, wait for any TV interview. She had up all kinds of posters in her room of her. By the time Diana returned to acting, the shimmer and flamboyance my grandmother had been enamored by couldn't have felt even farther away. My grandmother was without custody of her children. Eras of grief had not been fully processed, as her diagnosis wasn't clear until adulthood. My grandmother knew the feeling of a lonesome heart going back to her own childhood. The separate paths me and her walk on still convey a self-realization is often misunderstood. People often are inverse of each other's strengths, shortcomings, and in the grand scheme of things, truth has only been honored to a point. My one-on-one experiences with illness in the family place me differently from peers and even adults while coming up. Nonetheless, my take on schizophrenia awareness ties into how I view concepts of human adequacy. Most bumps in our progression can be blamed on the ways in which we dishonor our stories or shame ourselves. One observation I pull from is how at times an array of neurodevelopmental handicaps are triangulated against conditions that can be taken as antagonistic in nature. I'm not a mental health professional either, but I call notice to those overlaps socially. In my 20s now, I'm grateful for my intelligence because while awareness is ever evolving, I can care for myself more proficiently whether or not I become a patriarch to my own family, in event I have my own kids. Some of the only cons I can say I've witnessed with the politics of recognizing mental illness amongst family is how some women gossip about each other's struggles. Coming from a majority female family on my great-grandmother's side, I have seen how emotional pain can become something discussed more than genuinely understood. The women in the family were expected to continue functioning regardless of emotional exhaustion, insecurity, resentment, or trauma. There were also tensions surrounding desirability, beauty, and the way women were socially treated based on how they carried themselves. Insecurity was not always addressed directly. Instead, it sometimes appeared indirectly through comparison, gossip, criticism, or dismissive attitudes. Certain women were considered more respectable, more composed, or more worthy of empathy than others. Mental health conversations could become tangled with personal judgments about attractiveness, motherhood, relationships, or social posture rather than focusing on actual wellness. Another issue I observed was the multi-generational belief that respect only flows upward. Speaking honestly about emotional pain could be interpreted as disrespect rather than vulnerability. That dynamic created an environment where emotional honesty became difficult, especially when older family members themselves had survived decades of hardship without language for mental health. There's a great deal of intersectionality for anyone with a struggle. Thanks for viewing in the name of Schizophrenia Awareness.